All right, ladies and gentlemen, Rex Bear League Project. How the heck are you? Beautiful day today out here in southern Colorado. It's a bit intense out there in South Korea, though. We'll talk about it in a minute. I don't know if I'm live yet. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let me know that I am live. Are we live on the platform? Even though I have Starlink, when I do live streams, it appears to be slower for some reason. Computer logistics. Stand by. We'll rock and roll here in just a moment. Want to make sure that we are streaming and... Are we live? Yes, okay. Hey, everybody. Let's get into this. Lots of news today. We're going to get into the rapid fire at first, and then I'll do my best to give you as many details as possible. But as you can see, South Korea president declares emergency martial law, sending shockwaves across the country. Hey, cat in the chat. It's pretty intense. Yeah, today, South Korea. Now, we haven't seen a UFO invasion yet. Well, here's where it gets really interesting, because the Webbot prediction, some people thought back in 2000 that Webbot predicted this UAP invasion, and it was going to happen 39 days after the Joe Rogan President Trump interview. That is today. Now, there's been a ton of activity in the skies over major military facilities, from Langley to RAF sites in the UK, nuclear facilities, these bizarre drones, and they're more than drones, folks, but I guess you could technically call them drones if they're unmanned. But regardless, we haven't seen a full-on alien invasion yet. But what did happen today, South Korean President Yoon Yeol declared martial law during a late-night emergency television address, citing threats from pro-North Korean elements allegedly disrupting the government. This unprecedented move, since the nation's democratization in 1987, led to immediate political turmoil, with the National Assembly swiftly voting to annul the martial law declaration. So, like, out of the blue, what the heck happened, right? It's pretty intense. I mean, could you imagine if you woke up and then all of a sudden on the news, you're watching the administration or the powers that be say, martial law has been declared? It would definitely ruffle some feathers. And the crypto market took a huge hit, especially in South Korea. Like, the exchanges out there, they are starting to rebound. And, you know, I mean, I've got crypto, so go Ripple. So regardless, we've got this martial law declared, and then immediately after, like, the parliament was saying, So let's get more into this. And the address, real quick, shameless plug. Go over to our Patreon page after this and become a Patreon. It's like $5 to be a Patreon, and your patronage definitely helps Leak Project. We do about 10 to 12 hours a day of podcasts. I mean, it does cost money to do these things. So if you can help support a little bit, just watching the shows helps. So hit that thumbs up and leave a comment. Really appreciate you. If you can kick down $5 a month, hey man, right on, much appreciated. Plus, we have a ton of exclusive content over there and information that we can only talk about over on Patreon and leakproject.com. A lot of long format interviews, lots and lots of shows, thousands of hours of exclusive content. So definitely check us out over on Patreon. But let's go back to this. How many people do we have in the chat right now? Because it looks like some people are having some problems with the stream. So the video's choppy. I'm in a time warp, man. All right, well, folks, deal with me here, please. Some people's streams are going good, some not so much. This was happening yesterday. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, in his address, President Yoon accused the opposition Democratic Party of controlling the parliament, sympathizing with North Korea, and engaging in anti-state activities that paralyzed government functions. He stated, I declare martial law to protect the free Republic of Korea from the threat of North Korean communist forces, to eradicate the despicable pro-North Korean anti-state forces that are plundering the freedom and happiness. The martial law decree entailed the mobilization of the military, suppression of parliamentary activities, restrictions on political gatherings, and government control over the media. The military announced that it would uphold martial law until directed otherwise by the president. You can read about this, The Sun, Wall Street Journal, CNN. Now, in response, so it's interesting how the president says, we're going to declare martial law for freedom. Does that make sense? Well, yeah, we got to declare martial law for freedom, man. It's how it works. Come on. So the National Assembly, dominated by the opposition Democratic Party, convened an emergency session in the early hours of December 4th. Despite facing armed guards and physical barriers, lawmakers managed to enter the assembly building, with some scaling fences to gain access. In a unanimous vote of 190 votes to 0, the parliament passed a motion to lift martial law, effectively nullifying President Yoon's declaration. Read about that in the Wall Street Journal. The opposition leader, Lee Jae-myung, condemned the president's actions, urging citizens to support democracy and resist the imposition of martial law. He expressed concerns that the military might attempt to arrest members of parliament, highlighting the severity of the political crisis. Wow. Now, the alleged reasoning behind the declaration, and you can read about that from The Sun. President Yoon's decision to declare martial law was rooted in escalating tensions with North Korea and domestic political strife. Since taking office Yoon's administration faced continuous opposition in parliament, impeding his policy agendas. The president accused the opposition of being pro-North Korea and engaging in activities that threatened the nation's constitutional order. So to protect you, I'm just going to declare martial law on everybody. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Additionally, North Korea's recent actions, including branding President Yoon as the vicious main culprit for hostile inter-Korean relations and amending its constitution to declare South Korea, exacerbated security concerns. These developments likely influenced Yoon's decision to implement martial law as a measure to safeguard national security. You can read about that, The Sun. North Korea's influence and regional tensions. The Korean peninsula has experienced heightened tensions due to North Korea's aggressive posture. Pyongyang's actions, such as demolishing unification movements, blowing up inter-Korean liaison offices, and intensifying military activities near the border, have escalated hostilities. The North's increased weapons tests and inflammatory rhetoric have further strained relations, contributing to volatile security environment. Experts warned the continued border incidents could trigger a larger conflict with significant risks due to North Korea's nuclear and chemical arsenal. The international community remains vigilant, monitoring the situation closely due to South Korea's strategic importance in the region. Yep, it's pretty intense over there, folks. How many people do we have in the chat here? Let's see here if I can update. I wonder if I turned off my video, if that'll help. All right, is that better? Can you hear me now? Are we still having issues? Let me know. Should have plenty of bandwidth, so I am not sure what's going on. So it starts in the Korean Peninsula. And clearly, I mean, what a action, what a response, and what a vote. Let me try turning my video back on here. All right. Martial law has a troubled history in South Korea, often associated with periods of political unrest and authoritarian rule. The last instance of martial law occurred in 1979 following the assassination of President Park Chung-hee, leading to a military coup. The 1980 Gwangju uprising, where military forces suppressed pro-democracy protesters, remain a poignant reminder of the implications of martial law. Since democratization in 1987, South Korea has strived to uphold democratic principles and civilian control over the military. President Yoon's declaration marked the first invocation of martial law in the democratic era, raising concerns about potential regression to authoritarian practices. International reactions. The United States expressed deep concern over the developments, with the National Security Council stating it was monitoring the situation closely. Given South Korea's strategic importance as a key ally in East Asia, the U.S. emphasized the need for adherence to democratic norms and the rule of law. Wall Street Journal. China and Singapore issued advisories to their citizens in South Korea, urging them to remain calm and avoid political gatherings. The United Kingdom's Foreign, Commonwealth, and Development Office updated its travel advice, cautioning against involvement in political protests. Wikipedia. So, what's the conclusion? President Yoon Suk Yeol declaration of martial law and its subsequent annulment by the National Assembly underscore the resilience of South Korea's democratic institutions amid political and security challenges. The swift parliamentary response reflects a commitment to upholding democratic governance and civilian oversight. However, the incident highlights the delicate balance between national security concerns and the preservation of democratic freedoms, especially in a region marked by complex geopolitical dynamics. The Sun, news.com.au, the Scottish Sun. Military takes to streets in South Korea and clashes erupt after president declares martial law over North Korea threat. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty intense. A lot of people think that could happen here. And, well, look, I don't know if you've been following the Project 2025, if you've read through it. I think it's almost 1,000 pages. I mean, it's an encyclopedia of information. And the administration that's moving in January 20th, it seems like, I mean, President Trump has tried to distance himself from Project 2025. Maybe look into that a little bit more. Something worth looking into. I'm not going to say much more, but I am going to drink some coffee. Can you guys hear me? Back on and off again. Whoa, man. All right. Well, look, let me just share with you a few more articles here, and then you can come back and watch this because it should go through fine when you go back and rewatch it, hopefully. Because I've got some other interesting articles to share with you. This is from NASA. I all know. I get it. I'm going to read your comments. Oh, you're reading an article from NASA, Rex? Yes. Global freshwater crisis. NASA detects abrupt decline. NASA's Earth-observing satellites have revealed a startling drop in global freshwater levels, sparking concerns over water security. Data from the GRACE satellites. Let's see if I can go to this article now. Oh, yeah. Did you see this? Oh, yeah. You saw that. Yeah, Bitcoin took a huge hit. So did XRP shortly after the declaration of martial law in North Korea. It is starting to rebound. So, as I said, I do have cryptos, so I would like to see those go back up. This is an interesting article from news.climate.columbia.edu. This is actually showing hotspots, different hotspots that have been observed, and they can't really explain what is creating these hotspots. Heat waves exceed trends from climate models. Boxed areas with the darkest red colors are the most extreme. Lesser reds and oranges exceed models, but not by as much. Yellows roughly match models, while greens and blues are below what models would project. So the study looks at heat waves over the past 65 years, identifying areas where extreme heat is accelerating considerably faster than more moderate temperatures. This often results in maximum temperatures that have been repeatedly broken by outsize. Sometimes, where do we go here? The extreme heat waves have been hitting predominantly in the last 5 years or so. Some occurred in the early 2000s or before. The most hard-hit regions include populous centers, central China, Japan, Korea, the Arabian Peninsula, eastern Australia, and scattered parts of Africa. Some parts include Canada's Northwest Territories and its high Arctic islands, northern Greenland, and the southern end of South America, and scattered patches of Siberia. Areas of Texas, New Mexico appear on the map, though they are not as extreme. Now, I have some ideas about these pockets of heat. Obviously, human interaction. But anyway, I want to read your comments on that. That's interesting. We'll keep you posted on that. This was the article from NASA talking about abrupt freshwater disappearances. So from 2015 through 2023, satellite measurements showed the average amount of freshwater stored on land includes liquid surface water, lakes, rivers, plus water and aquifers underground, 290 cubic miles lower than the average levels from 2002 to 2014, said Matthew Rottle, who's one of the authors of the study and a hydrologist at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. So that is 2.5 times the volume of Lake Erie lost. Wow, that's intense. Data broker blunder, more than 600,000 sensitive files exposed in data services leak. A bunch of very sensitive files. This is one of many. Washington State AG report data breaches reach new all-time highs in Washington. This is Hayden. You can read about this, MSN.com. Hayden said the big seed, he's a farmer. He said that big seed manufacturers are the reason why food prices are high, because they hold farmers hostage with yearly subscriptions they implement for seeds they sell. Farmers don't own their seeds, he said. They pay for the right to plant them. Hayden showed viewers his cornfield and said, this is my corn, but I don't own the genetics to my corn. So if I harvest my corn and try to plant more, that's illegal. Hayden said farmers have to sign contracts where they buy seeds from big companies and explain, meaning the seed company can come on your property, dig up your plant, and check for genetics. But don't worry, folks, it's because they love you so much. Earth.com. Earth has tilted 31.5 inches and humans are 100% to blame. You bad humans. Every time you use water from your tap, you're inadvertently influenced. It's your fault. You're drinking tap water and it's causing the earth to tilt. See what I mean? How do you get a break in today's day and age? I mean, you can't have air conditioning. You can't eat meat. You got to eat the bugs. You got to, carbon credits. And now you can't drink tap water because if you do, it's going to cause the earth to tilt. I mean, come on. Over less than 2 decades, our groundwater pumping has tilted the earth 31.5 inches. To put this into perspective, this water redistribution equates to approximately 0.24 inches of sea level rise. My. What the heck? Can't even drink. They're going to tell you got to drink bugs. And they'll be like, you must drink bugs and like it. You'll eat the bugs and drink the bugs. If you drink tap water, it causes the earth to tilt. If you have air conditioning or a refrigerator or a car, you are a part of the global warming problem. What are we going to do with you humans? What are we going to do with you? Silly humans. Wow. I mean, farmers can't get a break. I've driven through like Iowa, Nebraska, and you drive through these these huge fields of just farm after farm after farm. And there's these huge signs up saying what agriculture company they're working with, what kind of chemicals they're using on the products and seeds. And I'm just like, oh, disgusting. Meanwhile, you have these airplanes flying over the farms, dropping chemicals, the crop dusters, and just like, oh, yes, it's so lovely. And then in Texas, you drive through the fields of the fracking, and it's like, oh, the smells are amazing. I mean, wow. Where did we go wrong, folks? Like, I get we all got to eat. We all got to, clearly meat is good. But is it good to put chickens in a cage and then put stuff in their feed that makes them grow so big they can barely walk and they fall within their own weight? And they don't even get to see daylight because there's reports that if you grow chickens in cages and they don't get to see daylight, they get bigger. I mean, it's just so nasty in my opinion. And it's like, so what's the culprit to this? Like where does it start? where do we go for like where do we go? This is where you want to go. You want to go to leakproject.com. Do yourselves a favor and go to leakproject.com and become a member. But I mean, like, as a species, as a whole, as a community, what happened? Like, when did it go from a healthy environment, helping people, making a quality living, having a quality life, to it's us versus them? What happened? Where did things go wrong? I don't know. So this is the website, leakproject.com. We've got like 8 years worth of interviews here, long format interviews, amazing shows with amazing people. So check out our website also, but check us out on Patreon too. And if you are looking, foil cap. There's a lot of people out there that have a tough time sleeping. They have a tough time being around certain like EMF, electromagnetic frequencies. And if you go to tinfoilcap.co, we have EMF protection from head to toe. And people report sleeping better with the EMF liners, feeling better sometimes. So, I mean, just read the testimonials. Everybody's different, but definitely check out tinfoilcap.co. We've got some big sales going on right now. And these liners you can put in your hats, or you can, wear. You got the EMF blockers for your phones that will literally block all EMF frequencies coming in and out. You will not get a signal with your phone. But anyway, check us out over there. And thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you have a... What did you say? I'm reading through these comments. These are great. Oh, now they're messing with the audio even? Oh, man. All right, well, thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you have a beautiful day. I got to read your comments here before I finish up this podcast, though. Corbin says, in my dream, Rex and Elon Musk showed up in white and red hoods. It was scary. Who was wearing the white hood and who was wearing the red hood? All right, I'm gonna stick around for this. This is getting fun. I like being in people's dreams. I don't know why, but it's fun. Like, I've heard some interesting stories about me being in people's dreams, and I'm just like, really? I was doing that? Wow. Hello. Come on, Corbin. You got to tell me more, man. I got to hear more about the dream. What were we doing? Was Elon Musk like, here is your brain implant? And I'm like, but I want a wearable, man. You're not going to implant that in my brain. I want to be able to take it off. Appreciate you too, Kimberly. Alan, great to see you. Mark, great to see you. Mark says, see you, serpent. Well, thank you. You can call me a serpent anytime you want. I don't mind being a snake. Snakes are smart. Like, look it up. The serpent, the knowledgeable one, Enki. I'll take that as a compliment, man. I know about, like, now if you're trying to use it as a nefarious, like, oh, dude, you're snaky. Well, whatever, man. That's your own opinion. I'm going to drink coffee. And I'll continue to share knowledge with you as best as I can. And look, nobody's perfect. But I'm working on it every single day. I don't know about you, man. But I read some of these comments sometimes, and I'm just like, did you really just say that out loud? Like, are you really that angry? Someone's like, dude, Rex, you and Jacob, man. I just did this awesome show with Jacob Israel, and 95% of the comments were amazing. But there's like those 5 comments out of 100 that you read, and you're like, really? One guy said, Rex, you and Jacob are just boring and old now. And I was like, I wonder what this guy does. He's like, I'm going to say they're old and they're boring. And he's like, how old are you, buddy? And how exciting are you that you got to leave mean comments in the comment section? Like, that's what you do? You tell people they're boring? Come on. You can do better than that. Mark's like, do you worship Christ? If you don't, you're a serpent. Which Christ are you talking about? You talking about the Roman version? Or are you talking about the Egyptian? I mean, which one? The ancient Sumerian? Which one do you want to talk about, Mark? Come on. You're asking me the same question. Like, dude, am I talking to a brick wall here? So, do you worship? Like worship? What does worship mean? I love you, man. I love you. Um, do you is are you okay, Mark? I think Mark's having some opportunities, right? How's now that we're talking about just goofy stuff? How's the stream? Is it getting better now that we're not talking about martial law in South Korea and stuff like that? Kat's got her tinfoil hat. Awesome, Mr. C. How you doing? I mean, isn't it amazing? Like people that are supposed to be out there following the path, like they're the most aggressive sometimes. Wait a second, man. Come on, peace. Chill. What would Jesus do? Jesus was hanging out with the rebels. Jesus was a rebel. Come on. What's that song? Do you feel like I do? Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. That's what I'm thinking of right now, Mark, when I'm reading your comments. Corbin said he's going to put the dream in the comments. It was pretty intense. Mark, I love you, man. You're all good, brother. It's all good. I love all of you. Like, peace, man. Peace. It's all good to me. I mean, I'm cool. I'm just reading your comments. I'm like, what? Grant says he needs new underwear. Well, we do have EMF underwear. They're called ball blockers. Seriously. Yeah. Keep 5G out, man. South Korea, Clorum is wondering who declared martial law. The president of South Korea declared martial law, and then shortly after, it was overturned by Parliament, 170 votes to 0. So they said, "Nuh-uh, you're not declared martial law here for very long." Hey, BP, good to see you, man. How are you doing? While we're here, actually, Michelle, we have what's called snoods, and you can put the snood around your ears also. You can completely cover your face and leave your eyes open, or you can leave your eyes open and put it down below your nose as well, or you can even put it down below your chin. So it'll fully block that. It's called a snood. You can look it up. It's on the website. Jesus said the lizards are weird. They probably think the same about people. They're like, man, people are weird. Mark Johnson. Mark Johnson, you're a legend, man. So Mark Johnson is the gentleman that went and got footage. Or no, he didn't go get footage, but he went and talked to somebody out at the airport in Michigan recently when there was that whole FEMA fiasco where people were trying to figure out what was going on. Mark went out there and talked to one of the security guards, and the security guards told him they were actually waiting for FEMA to show up, but they hadn't shown up yet, which is really interesting. That was like the opposite of what the news said the day before. But interesting how there's not much talk about that now. Now we're all talking about aliens and UFOs and martial law in South Korea. We've got President Zaddy in the house. So much appreciated for that, Mark. And Mark is actually, I'm working with Mark right now on his YouTube channel. He's building up a YouTube channel right now. He's a ref and he's an umpire. So like he's anyway. So, and he's a pretty cool guy. So he's got a really cool history, cool story to tell. Good to see you, Elton. How you doing, brother? Void knows Mark. Okay, so check this out. I'm out here in Southern Colorado, right? So I go through the message boards a lot and I read through the forums. Yesterday, somebody leaves a comment. I've got it on my phone. I'll show it to you. And they're like, anybody else seeing crazy UFO tonight? Anybody else seeing crazy UFOs tonight in Aspen Springs more than usual? And I'm like, what? So I'm like, did you get some footage? Are you sure it wasn't Starlink? Because I've seen Starlink out here before, and Starlink looks like a whole fleet of UFOs. They go slower than that. You know, it's like a slow line. But I said, are you sure it wasn't Starlink? And so she goes and gets footage and uploads footage of this. And it's not Starlink. It's just one. Now, it could be a plane or some type of drone that, because of where it is, and because of the lighting and because of the, you know, the quality of the video, it's not coming in super good and it looks like an orb. But it looked like one of those orbs. And so, and I've seen an orb out here in southern Colorado, plain as day, during the daytime. It was metallic silver, wasn't more than 50 feet off the ground, and it's like 1 or 2 o'clock in the daytime, right in Pagosa Springs. Now, if you go south of Pagosa Springs, there's a place called Dulce, which is very mysterious. And there's only been one person out there that I've talked to that lives out there that's a rancher that hasn't seen paranormal activity. Everybody else that I've talked to out there has seen stuff. I won't go out to, there's places in Dulce I won't even go to anymore. There's supposed to be an underground base out there and vents. Well, do not go look for the vents, folks. Trust me. We'll just leave it at that. But a lot of people that I shouldn't say a lot, but several people that I have talked to in that area and also in Aspen Springs have seen these orbs. So there's definitely something going on out here. Now, these orbs that are silver, do they have a different color at night, or are those the same orbs? Or are those more like a plasmoid type orb versus an actual orb that is a physical object? Now, these orbs might be able to go in and out of dimension. They might be able to, like, time, not necessarily time warp. Yeah, they could potentially time warp, but go create like this wormhole and boom, disappear, and then appear somewhere else. And that's not just me saying that. There's a lot of research and data that's presenting that possibility, that very real possibility. So keep your eyes on the skies tonight. Definitely keep your eyes on the skies. And I'm going to get my night vision. I've got some night vision I can get out tonight. And I'm right up on top of a mountain, basically. So if you guys want to do a live stream tonight, we can live stream it. We'll get the night vision out and we'll see what goes on. Hopefully the live stream will come in better. I'll use some different software. But I think tonight might be a fun night for that, because today's supposed to be the day that everything goes down in the skies. Today's the day. You know, it's so funny. I read some of these ignorant comments that people leave that about like space and Space Force and stuff like that. Within 20 years, we will be traveling to different planets. Within 20 years, we're going to go to Mars. Mark my words. Why do you think they want? Why did it change from population control to have more people, have more babies, have bigger families? Like, we're going to Mars in 20 years. So, Total Recall, it's a documentary. Well, it's a movie, but it could be a documentary. Do you know that there was a remote viewing project a year before Total Recall came out? And this remote viewing project was basically a branch off of the CIA. They're not a part of the CIA, but like an offshoot of a project that was funded, and there are some connections there. And they remote viewed Mars. And they remote viewed this object. And you can read the file, folks. I've done podcasts on this. This file is available at like CIA.gov, Vault, something like that. They remote viewed this massive object on Mars that's about 1 million years old. Go to Total Recall in the film. What does Arnold Schwarzenegger find at the very end? He's got the pyramid that's 1 million years old. He pushes the button. It creates an atmosphere, and it creates it to where like the money funders that are selling air to everybody don't get, you know, they don't have their control anymore because they can't sell air because now they got air. It's free. It's where it should be. Elon's smart. He knows what's going on, and I think that he's building an empire And he's going back to Mars. So, Cydonia, that's where, like, look at Cydonia and think of the connections of Cydonia and I better not say anymore. Do you know what Cairo stands for? The Egyptian city, Cairo, El Cairo. Do you know what that is? It's the camp of Mars. Get your ass back to Mars and have a beautiful day. Thanks for watching and be the change you want to see.